the CEO of Speeder Havila Incorporated in Toronto, Canada. May I ask that Pastor Israel, can you just give us a shout wherever you are as we welcome you? This great opportunity. Sorry. Sorry, Pastor Israel. I was just trying to unmute or to mute everybody else because I was hearing so much of their noise. But your mic is open now. Please, can you please speak to us?
Thank you so much, everyone, for this opportunity, and thank you very much, Pastor Iman, for as well giving me this opportunity to share briefly on this platform. I want to believe that by the special grace of God, this is going to be a life-changing and life-impacting event. So let's get ready, but not only get ready, let's as well ensure that after now, everything that we learn, we need to put into practice, because that is the only way we can make success happen. I guess that many of us have attended so many seminars before, but the question is, what do we do with what we learn? So I hope that at the end of it today, it will be not only life impacting, but as well we'll implement what we learn. Thank you very much, Pastor.
Praise God. All right, so let me also introduce to us our second speaker, who is going to be speaking to us from Lagos, Nigeria. He is a great dear friend of mine for many years. He's currently the general manager with Guaranty Trust Bank, and he's a life coach, and I mean, he's an amazing individual. So let me allow him to introduce himself briefly to us. Please, can we have Mr. Sheldon, please?
Good afternoon, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thanks. Good afternoon, everybody. And it's nice to be on this platform this afternoon. It's nice to have everybody around. And a big thank you to Pastor Emmanuel Preche. You are putting so much of physics, showing our background as engineers. Like the first speaker said, please let's take note and let's make it as interactive as possible. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much, Brother Shegun from Lagos, Nigeria. I am going to quickly ask us to, as much as possible, let's try and focus, and if possible, also mute your microphone. We are going to give the speakers the opportunity to speak to us, and once they have finished speaking to us, we will then open the floor for us to be able to ask questions. We want to make this as interactive as possible so that everybody can be able to draw one or two lessons or the other from the different sessions. So I'm going to bring on Pastor Israel, who's going to begin speaking to us this afternoon for those of us in South Africa, and those of you that are outside of South Africa. I'm not sure what time your zone is. Please take notes. I always say a piece of paper or a notebook never forgets. Your mind will forget. Information you cannot recall is useless to you. And in physics there's what is called effort, and I believe that effort is the first step to achieving any end in anything you want to do as a person. And the first effort which we have all made is making the effort to be a part of this event today. Next effort will be making an effort to ensure that you are able to record, the things we are going to be sharing with you, and also the things we are going to be communicating, all throughout the program today. So without wasting time, I'm going to invite back Pastor Israel so that he can begin with the first session of the program today. Pastor Israel.
in the life of Joseph. Now, I'm going to be basing again what I'm going to be sharing based on biblical.
Find out from them on Facebook. What about here? Is the audio on YouTube? Did you check the audio? So that the first session. In the life of Joseph. Now, I'm going to be basing again what I'm going to be sharing based on biblical.
Information becomes very critical. They tell me that information is power. I recall so many years ago, in the Nigerian stock market, at the time, sometimes in 2007, because I was an active player then at that time. I recall that one information that was my financial journey. They made a total change of my financial journey. Information is key. And that's what
Let me see the
information
Facebook
is
post.
power. So everything you can do to
Desktop.
get
That's what
information
it's supposed
as
to
to
use. Desktop.
what stocks to get into in terms of investment model or what to do in terms of real estate. You see, you don't need to have so much money, for instance, to go into real estate. I recall in 2001, I was walking the streets of London, for instance, of course, because of this conversation, and I had God say to me, do you know you can buy a house in this place? And I, 2001, then I had nothing. And it didn't make sense to me, but you see, I started having conversation with people. I hooked up with a real estate broker, and I said to him, how can I buy a house in London, blah, 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 blah. And long story short, at that time, I didn't realize that you can buy a house without putting any money down. Of course, over time, I have sold the property, I used it to do some other things, and on and on. But the point I'm making is that never think that you cannot invest. The question is, ask yourself, be creative, ask God, how can I fulfill whatever plan, goal, aspiration that you want me to do? You can invest into reconstruction, you can go into keeping of property, you can buy dilapidated wrong property, put it back in the market. And then of course the fourth model is what they call the enterprise model. So we talked about service model, we talked about transaction model, we talked about investment model, then we're talking about enterprise model. Enterprise model simply means creating a business. I'm not just talking about savings. If you're talking about buying things, if you're talking about investing into stocks, livestock, and all of that, and the back end of their lands, in restraints. I will not provide you the seed to plant, and then you give me back 20% return. 1/5 of everything that's a business model, but that's an enterprise model. You created a business and said, hey, what I want from you is 20% return. And that's what everyone that used to make business does. The lives of creative businesses, and then they get a return. Jeff Bezos, one of the richest men in the world, was Amazon. He took a business, and then expect a return. Friends, if you want to excel in terms of your financial goals, you've got to think from leaving a job, earning an income, into doing the business. And here God can give you and I wisdom in terms of understanding. The Bible says in Deuteronomy chapter 8, verse 18, it says, remember the Lord your God I give, that gives you the power to get wealth. The power that talks about creativity. The power that talks about innovation. The power that talks about ideas. The power that talks about what you need to do per time and per season. That God can put in your spirit now. And then you say you develop an idea and you run with that idea and you develop that idea. The challenge that we have either as Africans or as people of color is that we want to hold the ideas, cage it for ourselves, and don't look at it, finding expression or marketing it or creating it bigger than ourselves so that other people can buy into it. So the enterprise model is critical. There is no person that has made tons of money that has not built a business. Look at Dangote, who is one of the richest men in Africa. Dangote started from transaction model of business, of wealth creation. He was into buying and selling, buying selling flour, selling sugar, selling all of those things. And then from there, he just did, and he's building businesses right now. So we have tons of businesses that is also do transaction. So the business model at the end of the day, which is the enterprise model, is the key. You have an idea, you turn it into a business. You have a goal or imagination, something that drops in your mind, you turn it into a business. And that is key, friends. That is key, friends. That is absolutely key. I would like to wrap up at this point because I don't know how much time I have left. By highlighting some few things. I like to highlight some few things. Some quick financial creativity strategy that I think everyone should write down. I'd like you to note that. The first step that I think everyone should note is that for you to build up resources, wealth, you need to build up your financial intelligence. Learn the importance of money and how to manage money. Build up your financial intelligence. Go and learn, go and read about finances, go and read about money, go and read about how to manage money. The greatest problem that many of us have is not how much money we get, it's how to manage the money. Many of us are bad managers of resources. You make a big break, you get a raise from work, and then you just squander everything. We need to learn how to manage money. So you're going to learn about that. You're going to learn how to broaden your income. You're going to learn how to reduce your expense, and on and on. And those things come under money management. The second thing that we need to learn in terms of steps is that you need to learn how to clean up your finances. Before you can start investing effectively, you need to learn to clean up your finances. Many of us are heavily indebted. Indebted in terms of credit card, indebted in terms of student loans, indebted in terms of car loans. And every time you want to make a quick break, you realize that debts are pulling you down. The Bible says, owe no man nothing except what? Except law. Friends, the only form of debt I encourage people to have is when you borrow money to invest. You must never borrow money to eat. You must never swap your credit card, load up your credit card to buy wares, to buy consumables, to buy goods. Goods, as it were, that you just consume on your personal self. That's a waste of resources. So clean up your finances. Make a conscious effort. Take one credit card to the other. From the income you make, pay it down. Look, the third step is be smart with your career choices. Some of us are in career opportunities or careers that are taking us nowhere. If you look at your career path, you realize because your career is one of the major tools of income. If you look at the career path where you're going, you're at, even if you stay there for the next 25 years, it's not going to earn you or get you so much more in terms of resources. What are you doing there? Look for career paths that you know that, okay, in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, there are growth opportunities. If you invest in yourself, you can improve, and on and on. Of course, the fourth thing is create a strategy for short-term investment. Every financial freedom comes incrementally. I like to repeat that. Every financial success comes incrementally. Warren Buffett did not become the richest man on earth overnight. It was incremental over time, using compounding law of investment. For you, therefore, to make success of in whatever investment goals you have, it must come incrementally. I recall several years ago, I wanted to really hit jackpot, and some guys came and showed me some good ideas. I said, hey, if we buy gallstones from Nigeria, northern part of Nigeria, and we export it to Europe, we're going to make tons of dollars. And I jumped at it, and I put all my life savings into this idea that this young man brought to me, without knowing that this guy was what they call a 419. A 419 is somebody that dupes people. Because you see, the greed factor in me at that time wanted me to make money overnight. Listen, friends, nobody makes money overnight. It's only fraudsters that think of making money overnight. The Bible says that Isaac sowed in the land and reaped in 1 year. You can't make money overnight. So you must create a strategy for short-term investment and long-term investment. Now, because the last point I'd like to drop at this point is that you must learn your investment options. There's what they call active investors, and there's what they call passive investors. Time is not going to permit me again to go much into that. Maybe when we get to the question and answer section, if there are things we can bring up from there, when we talk about that. Active investors are people who know about investment, know about the stocks, know about the things they're doing, and they're engaged in it. Passive investors are people who don't know anything. They give their money to money managers. They buy mutual funds, they buy what they call exchange traded funds, and they invest in it. But listen, friends, this is the best time to buy stocks. This is the best time in some countries to invest in properties. This is the best time. For instance, many stocks today, because of the COVID-19, has crashed over 50%, some has crashed over 100%. And if you can invest into them, it's mind-blowing. Early in March, I walked into a friend's office in Lagos, Nigeria, who happens to be my stockbroker, and he said to me, "Hey, Israel, do you know that Zenith Bank and GTB Bank shares have crashed from $30-something for GTB and have gone to somewhere about $15 at that time, and then Zenith Bank shares have gone from $22, $25 and was selling at about $11. And I said, wow. I said, what can I do? And there, I took a stake. I remember I bought Zenith shares at 12 naira at that time. And so you can imagine, in less than 1 month, we are in April now. That was in March, early March. In less than 1 month, the Zenith shares that I bought have been 25% gain on it. So those are little ways you can make money. For those of us who are in North America, for instance, shares of Apple, shares of airlines have crashed tremendously. So you can imagine if you buy into them now. In fact, some of them, I recall that Air Canada went as low as $9, mid-March. Right now, Air Canada is somewhere around $18, which is over 100% gain. So you can imagine if somebody had jumped in at that time. They tell me that a good investor always goes in when people are afraid and are running out. My prayer is that God will give us wisdom at this time. My prayer is that God will help us, not only with wisdom, but give us creativity on how to save, on how to be transaction-minded, on how to move from transaction-mindedness into investment models, investing in real estate and stocks as the case may be, and also to build businesses. God is making a wealth transfer at this season. The Bible says that the wealth of the wicked is stored up for who? The righteous. And I believe that this recession we are in is an opportunity for the wealth transfer. So you got to key into it. Don't sit at the sideline. Key into it. And may God transfer the wealth of the nation to you in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen and amen and amen and amen and amen and amen. Wow, thank you so much, Pastor Israel. That was so powerful. I don't know how many of you were listening. I can see some people putting their hands together. Okay, let me just give you the opportunity. You want to put your hands together, please do that. You can put your hands together wherever you are. If you were blessed, put your hands together for the Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. All right. Thank you. So some of the important takeaways from what Pastor Israel shared with us, very, very key and very important. This is the time to invest. For those of you who don't know much about stock exchange, the fact that the COVID-19 situation has literally made the stocks of a lot of companies to go down, literally has created a window of opportunity. And this is really what the movement of money is all about. It's being able to take advantage of windows of opportunities, to make a difference when others are looking. While some people are sitting at home, locked down, others are sitting at home afraid, they don't know what is happening. Financially intelligent people are actively involved, looking at avenues and opportunities in which they can literally take advantage of the moment. You know, there's a saying that whether the economy is going up or going down, there are people making money. And this is really why we need financial intelligence and why we need to constantly, you know, participate in events like this and be able to cross-pollinate and draw knowledge, you know, as much as we can. All right, without wasting much time, I am going to bring on our second speaker for this evening. Pastor Israel will still be standing by because we're going to go into a question and answer session after we finish with our second speaker, who's going to be speaking to us from Lagos, Nigeria. So we will try and see how we can get the, there was a few complaints about the audio, so let's hope we'll be able to get it clearer now so that those of you who cannot, the Facebook link is very, very clean and very smooth for those of you that have friends who cannot join us now on Zoom because some people are coming in late, so they are unable to join on Zoom. But the privilege of being on Zoom here is that you have the opportunity to be able to ask questions and we'll be able to cross-pollinate together, you know, in an interactive manner. All right, I want to bring on my dear friend, Brother Segun Fadausi. You know, he's a general manager at Guarantee Trust Bank currently and chief audit executive, a financial expert also, and he's going to be speaking to us in the next few minutes. So let's make welcome Mr. Segun Fadausi from Lagos, Nigeria.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon. We can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Thank you very much. I'm going to be making my presentation in PowerPoint. And I'm going to be speaking to you on the subject, the entrepreneur. The entrepreneur. I'm sure you know about the entrepreneur. You know, so today, specially coined word, the entrepreneur. I pray that you will gain one or two things in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Okay. This presentation will take this outline. I'll give you some preamble, scriptural mostly. I'll define the entrepreneur. I'll talk about general investment, okay? I'm going to give you a practical investment guide. And I'm going to talk about some opportunities that exist
I'm trying to figure out what is going on.
during this lockdown period, and then I will conclude. Some opportunities God that exist, like we all
The video
know,
has frozen.
is the creator of heaven and earth. So everything consists in him. And it's the source
We
of
have the video
everything.
here, this line is
We
clear,
all
but the
know
sound.
life is the creator of wealth or health. Or
Do you remember the
whatever you can
Yeah, we have it.
All is in God is the source. And talking about investment, wealth, money, you know, Job 32 verse 8, it says there's an inspiration in man. The strength of the Almighty gives him understanding.
audio is good, but the video is
Understanding about these issues, and it gives us power to get wealth in Deuteronomy 8:18. Like the first speaker has said, wealth creation does not
You remember
jump
how
on
to-
someone. You have to be intentional about it. So you have to like that very
Give
strong.
me the code again.
Still by way of preamble, I want you to know that everyone that God created has an
3386.
equal opportunity
2864.
to succeed. Each and every one of us have an equal opportunity. 2 Peter 1:3, God has given unto us
092.
all that pertains to life and
092.
godliness. So it depends on how you take your opportunity. Finally, in this brief background, knowledge, what the first speaker was referring to as information also, is very key. Knowledge is very key. Proverbs 19:2, it is not good for a soul to be without knowledge. Proverbs 15 talks about people seeking knowledge, wise people. And I'm happy that it's because of this knowledge that the Diplomat Assembly, so Pastor Emmanuel Ogbeche, has set up this Physics of Money Foundation. So just note 2 or 3 things here. You have to look to God, because if God does not release, you cannot receive. Number 2 is that wealth creation is intentional. Number 3 is that knowledge is key. Let's move on now. So let's move on. Who is the entrepreneur? From the word entrepreneur, which is actually a French word, if you take out that preneur, preneur is a person that is action oriented. This person doesn't sit idly. This person is proactive in thinking, in his thoughts. This person is self-motivated and he wants to achieve something. This person is looking for and where to create value. So while people are complaining, the preneur is busy thinking of what next to do. Therefore, the entrepreneur, which is specially coined from this seminar, is a person who takes proactive action towards financial planning, 1, savings, investment, and sound financial management as a whole. Note it, proactive action, financial planning. You have to plan. What do I need and co? It is after you have planned, you decide, or you know what you can save. Then savings. It is only people who have savings that can invest. And then sound financial management and so that's the entrepreneur. At the end of this meeting or session, my prayer or my challenge to you is that you are going to become an entrepreneur, someone who is proactive in his financial dealings and in his investment dealings. The entrepreneur has some vocabs, if I may call it like that. He has something called risk appetite. We'll talk about it later. He has something called concept of unit of money. What's your unit of money? As an trainee, my unit of money was like 1,000 naira because my annual salary at that time, in 1997, was 18,000 per annum. So anytime I've saved up to 1,000, I save it away. The unit of money. As you move up in life, your unit of money will increase. Some people's unit of money is 100K now. So if my unit of money is 100K, if I have 78,000, I will check. Is it closer to 100K or to 0? It's closer to 100K. So I'm going to add 22,000 to it, so that it can reach 100K and I save it away or I invest it. Is it if I have 15K, I'm likely to not save that one because my unit of money is 100K. I'm likely to do some other things with it, not wasteful. So vocab, unit of money, investment analysis, talking about the information and knowledge. You don't just jump into things. You take decision because Mr. A is doing the same thing, then you are on the wrong footing. Liquidity. The first speaker was talking about short-term investment. Some people have saved everything long-term. So if there's a short-term opportunity, they cannot take the short-term opportunity. So pricing, is it the right price? And then entry and exit strategy. We'll still talk about some of these things. So on this slide, just note the entrepreneur, someone that is intentional about his finances and about investments. Now, let me briefly talk about general investment bouquet. You know, the first speaker has spoken about 4 models, which is the savings model, transaction model, investment model, and enterprise model. I'll be telling you about the financial market, the property market, and the general market. You know, when we play what? You send someone to general market if you have 20. Financial market, you see, I put it there is a ladder. There's a place you will start from. There's a place you must start saving first. You have to save. You find your concept of money, your unit of money, and you start to save. Because if you do not save, there will be nothing to fall back on, and there will be nothing to invest. Financial market, so there is savings. So you have savings account. There is bank deposit, treasury bills. So you have fixing investment, fixed deposit, and go, and you have to argue and negotiate interest rates. That is deposit. You have the stock market. It's still the financial market. The first speaker spoke about it. About 2 weeks ago, Zenith came down to about 10 naira 30 kobo. Someone we know just decided and said, look, if I perish, I perish. And the person bought 100 million units at 10 naira. That's a billion naira. And in less than 2 weeks, Zenith closed at 15 something yesterday. In less than 2 weeks, he exited making about 300 million. You may not have 1 billion. I also, since the lockdown started, I tried to make some money every week, maybe like 500K on a principal of 5 million, buying various stock. I'm a short-term investor. I bought Nestle at 765. I ran out at 913.20. You know, I've been targeting to buy Fidelity and FCMB. They are paying dividends soon. And their return is about 10%. By the time I subtract the commission, traders commission and all sorts, about 4.5%, I can still make like 5.5 or 6% in a week. You know, so the stock market. Many people, when you open that newspaper, everything that is there looks like Greek. We are going to still get to the place of knowledge. And then foreign currency trading, something they call online trading, online forex trading. This one you have to be very careful. In 2005, I was on vacation in UK. I was trading forex online. Right in my present, everything went bad. In 5 minutes, I lost $5,000. Instead of exiting based on my risk appetite, I tried to gamble more. I used the word gamble, and I lost $10,000.
Wow.
In the space of 1 hour.
$10,000 in 1 hour.
Be very good for a vacation. I just kept quiet. I don't say anything to my wife. That's the financial market. You don't see what you are buying. You just believe, you just put in your money. Some people are adept at the poverty market. They buy homes, they rent it out. Some build and sell. You know, that's the prevalence of the donuts in Nigeria. People buying and selling. You know, on a plot of land, they build like 4 or 5 houses and sell and go. So people, if you understand that, that's part of what you can do. The first speaker spoke about flipping. You buy something in the US for $40,000, $50,000 at that time. You make it up and you sell later. But you know, you are not going to get to that level at this stage. You are going to start from the financial market, from savings and co, and you are going to progress. That concept of incremental that you mentioned. And then land, some people speculate in land. I never do land transaction. It's one of the routes to get rich quickly, if I may say, or to get rich properly. Land speculation. But I don't have any knowledge about it because I can't cause trouble, I can't fight, you know, so I don't go into such transactions. But I have friends who have lots of land. They bought at $200,000 per plot, $50,000 per plot, and now it is a lot of money, and they are selling little by little. So that's the property market. I'm telling you about investment, okay. And then you have the general market. This one is a bit broader, you know, and you have to have knowledge of the opportunities. I mean, there's LPO financing. You may have an opportunity to supply something somewhere, etc. Depending on who is where and co. You may decide that what is selling now is face mask, and that you are going to import your own and sell, and general things like that. You know, that's general market. They have to be a bit more careful in this area. So this is the general investment bouquet. Remember, we're talking about investment strategies, option, and the opportunities, especially in this period. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, so I want to give you a practical investment guide, and you can see that a sense of direction is key. Number one is that you have to seek knowledge. Knowledge is the principal thing. You know, knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Knowledge. Proverbs 19:2. For a soul to play without knowledge is not good. That's how the Bible puts it. You have to know. You have to know more about the investment option that I mentioned before. You want to go into stock market. First, go into stock market. When does this company pay its dividend? At what time of the year is the shares the lowest? If you are going to invest in any company, for what I've seen of our very much senior respected investor, Mr. Tony Lumelo, you must know that you have to enter around this time in January. You must know that if you want to buy Zenith, I'm telling you what I know. I don't buy guaranteed Bank shares because it will be assumed to be insider trading at my level, so I can't do that. So I buy Zenith a lot, and I buy Zenith in December, around December 20 something, when people need money for Christmas and they are dumping. I'm buying Zenith because I know that I'm going to exit Zenith in the 3rd week, on the 4th week of January, because I'm not going to wait for dividend. I'm just going to take my markup on X million units and I will get out. And I will be starting the year on a good note. Knowledge of investment. When should you buy what? That's if you are going to the stock market. What is the rate, interest rate, prevailing rate? What should I invest in? Should I invest long term, 180 days now? If I figure that interest rate is coming down, or should I invest short term if I think that interest rate is going up? You have to seek knowledge about the financial market, about the general market. You have to know what and what and what. Number two, once you have this knowledge, I'm talking to you about practical investment guide. You have to set your boundaries. Boundaries. You know, Bible talks about do not remove the ancient landmarks which your fathers have set. The problem with many people is that they don't set boundaries in their investments. They don't set boundaries at all. They just entered and they are waiting for things to be okay, or for someone to pump them, you know, to exit. No, it's not like that. You have to define your risk appetite. Look, I'm entering these shares, I'm entering this FX trading in this manner. If I enter and at any point where I lose 15% of my principal, I will exit. My risk appetite is to lose 15%. At this level, if I do an investment and I'm losing 20 million, I'm not going to be crying. Or is that the case with you? Have you set your investment limit on the negative side, your risk appetite? How much am I willing to lose? Either singly on a particular trade or cumulatively. You have to set it. It's called stop loss. a stop loss limit. You have to set it. You have to also set your profit realization target. The importance of this is so that your profit will not remain paper profit. You buy Zenith at 10, 11, it is 12. Now you have 1 million units, you have made 1 million naira, you are not going out. It is 13, you are not going out. It is 14, you are not going out. Are you waiting for it to become 100? You have to set. What happens to such people who have not set profit target is that after a while, the whole thing will reverse. And then they will be saying that, had I known. Set a profit target. I mean, my neighbor who is my stockbroker knows. I set my profit target. I get in, I enter something at 10 naira. I get out at 20, at 12 naira, 11.50. Sometimes he will tell me, wait, to still go up. I say, no, I'm not waiting. I need to realize that money. Let it move from paper to my bank account. Then we do another transaction. So you have to set investment boundaries. And number 3, practical investment guides. You have to then become, you have to make up your mind to become an infopreneur. Someone that is intentional and proactive about financing. And you enter investment based on knowledge, and you exit based on boundaries that have been set. What are the opportunities that are bound during this lockdown? Because people have been sitting, there's no work, there's nothing, whereas people have been making money. It pained me. Cadbury was 6 naira 30 kobo about 3 days ago. Cadbury closed at 7 naira 70 kobo yesterday. That's 20%. 20% net of my cost and everything, I will have easily made a 14%, 13.5% in 3 days or in 1 week. But you know, excessive analysis, or I don't know whether I should call it fear, stopped me from going in. But there will always be opportunities. So the opportunities abounding during this lockdown period. One is in the mode of knowledge-based opportunities. What do you know? The Bible says the gifts of a man maketh room for him. What do you know? Who will consult you? I know international trade very well. I know about letters of credit. What do you know? People must consult me on such. What will people consult you on? Now I can't sell that knowledge online now because it will become conflict of interest for me because of where I work. But what do you know that you can package and sell? It is important in the area of knowledge that you do that. Simple productions. What can you produce? I was watching DSTV today, and the governor of Delta State is doing a lot. I was impressed. You know, it's empowered people so much. And you find out that people in Delta State are now producing face masks. But you're also a tailor, a fashion designer. How come you are not producing face masks? What can you produce? Can you produce, shirt, 8-grade shirt for people, t-shirt? What can you do? This is the time to ramp up your production since you have time. What can you produce? Some people in Lagos are already doing a lot of online teaching. I get it. Nobody wants to come to your house because of social distancing now, but they are still teaching online and they are getting paid. That's a very lucrative one. What can you produce? You have to think about it. If you look at your left, it talks about inspiration, ideas, and creativity. I've spoken about stock trading. I won't flog that. There's a lot of opportunity there, but you have to set your risk appetite and your profit-taking target. Unlike trading, unlike forex trading, physical markets are closed, online markets are not closed. But be very, very careful. This number 4 is not something you should quickly jump into, please. You have to take your time to study. And at any point in time when you want to jump into it, do with small bet size. When you are doing a trade, do a trade with $1, so that what you can lose maximum is $1. and what you can gain maximum is $1. I remember when I used to do FX trading long ago, I used to make $10 a day, and that is not a problem. But when greed sets in, and I believe I'm an expert now, and now I want to make $100, $200, that's when I start increasing my trading size, and that's when I'll be making serious losses. You understand? I mean, trading online, you have to be very cautious not to be greedy. You know, I have like 8 more minutes. Now you have to lock down opportunities. Knowledge is power. You know, I kept going back. Knowledge, acquire knowledge. It is what you know that will make room for you. It is what you know that you will sell. There's no way you can want to consult. You can never consult me on medicine. I don't know anything about it. I'm not trying to know anything about it. I'm a finance person. You have to acquire knowledge. You have to acquire knowledge. It will yield you future returns. Harvard, lot of schools are doing many online courses. I see it as a lockdown investment opportunity because it's an investment in yourself that will yield lots of returns in future. In conclusion, you have to involve God in your investment plan. You remember, or you recall that when I started, I mentioned that everything contains in God. In Him we live, in Him we move, and in Him we have our being. You know, the cattle upon 1,000, it belongs to Him. The earth is the Lord and the fullness therefore. The Bible says, acknowledge the Lord in all your ways, and He will direct your path. So you have to put God first. And that's why I like this physics of money, seminars, because it is for telling them to look unto Jesus. Very important. Do not be an ignorant investor. It will only lead to severe losses. Don't follow people to do things. Don't feel bad if you exit a stock at 12 naira and the stock reached 20 naira. That's not your own. Your own is what you have made. You have set your target. You have to be based on knowledge. You have to be a knowledge-based individual because other people are not sitting idle. People are doing things and they are making lots of returns. Thank you very much.
Wow, thank you so much, thank you so much, thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, let me unmute myself. I think I'm muted. Okay, thank you so much, Brother Segun from Lagos, Nigeria. Thank you so much. That was very amazing, and I mean, a lot of insightful light bulb moments. I know that our appetites are already craving for a whole lot more. A lot of people are literally right now itching for more, and we believe that as we begin to learn these truths, it's really going to transform our financial lives, you know. And yeah, I really believe that it's really been that was a very amazing and insightful series of teachings there. You know, we hope that we can actually do you know, a proper workshop where we can get everybody, you know, to be able to you know, have a step-by-step guide into many of the things that have been touched on a little bit. But this is what the Physics of Money Summit is about. It's to whet your appetite, is to create enthusiasm and design you and stir up your mind into thinking, to think about the fact that even though there is a lockdown going on, people are still making money from the stock exchange. And a lot of people are sleeping at home and not knowing what to do. You know, you may not have $1 million to start with. You can start with 10,000. You can start with 1,000. You know, it's better for you to be able to invest 1,000 and make it become 1,100 than to be waiting for the day you're going to have 100,000 or 1 million or more than that to be able to start investing. For those of you who don't know, Shegun and I are, we were colleagues at Obafemi Awolowo University, and we have a very, very great and dear friend of ours who is also an exceptional, an exceptional financial expert also in the house. Before I open up the floor for us to begin to take questions, I have asked him silently from the side if he could please, speak to us briefly, because we want to draw from his wealth of experience. Now, these are not normal people. When we were in the university, there were several lines that were drawn, and some people were on one extreme end of those lines, and the rest of the people were just seeking to try to reach those lines. Well, I'm talking about no other person but Mr. Muyiwa Ogunfowora, who, by the way, I think, Muyiwa, you were the best graduating student in IFE, when we graduated then, many years ago. Finished with, who knows, CGPA of God knows how, what level, I want to believe, first class student from electrical electronics engineering, and has gone ahead to distinguish himself in so many areas, and it's interesting that a lot of us who study electronics, most of us have, gone in different directions, listening to Shegun Ogunfowora, Brother Shegun speaking to us just now, you think, well, he studied business administration, but I'd like you to know that he's a first-class graduate of electrical electronics engineering from Obafemi Awolowo University. And also we have another guru here who's also a first-class student of electrical electronics from Obafemi Awolowo University. And I want to also give a shout out to another friend of mine who were all there in Ife together, Obafemi Awolowo University, electrical electronics department, Tayo Guni. I see him online. But let me bring on Brother Muyiwa Ogunfowora, if you don't mind, please. And then after he talks to us very briefly, we'll take a few questions. Brother Muyiwa, please, can you hear me?
Thank you very much, Pastor Emmanuel. It's interesting that we are all connecting after a long time.
Yes.
And this is really an excellent webinar, especially during this time. I've listened to the two speakers, and obviously it's been a wealth of experience that they've shared with us, especially on financial management. And I admire the first speaker talking about the need for knowledge, which is critical. And that is also reiterated by the second speaker, Professor Shegun Fadalusi, emphasizing on the need, especially coming up with a new word, entrepreneur.
Yeah.
So, which is looking at creating wealth from an investment point of view.
My classmates.
What happened?
It's not internet.
In impact investing. So why am I sharing all of this with you? Really is to actually share a perspective of creating wealth by solving problems. You can create wealth by investing on the capital market, but you can also create wealth by actually solving social and environmental problems. If you look at what is going on right now, there is lockdown, but who are the people who are working? These are essential services. These are the healthcare workers. These are people within the supply chain, jobs or activities that you would normally not pay attention to. Then you can ask yourself, really, how can you actually create create wealth by solving all of these problems? And that tells you that if you actually now look at even the richest people, you want to talk about Bill Gates, you want to talk about Steve Jobs, You want to talk about even Jeff Bezos, Amazon. These are entrepreneurs that have been able to create wealth by identifying a particular problem and targeting a business solution to it. For instance, we all know about the Khan Academy. A lot of our students or our children are probably going to be at home right now, and there's been a lot of pushing in terms of online education. So you can ask yourself, if you're an IT guru, how can you disseminate information or train a lot of people in the rural areas to have access to knowledge? So you create that platform. 1 billion people will need information, really, because everybody's under lockdown in terms of teaching them. If it's math, if it's English, is it possible to work and think about creating an app to get all these people to learn? Really, you are solving the problem, and at the same time you are creating wealth. Of course, really, the financial principles of financial management will still be there, but it's actually possible that during this period we'll reflect, think about the problem and how to use a business approach to solve that problem, and we can also create wealth. So that is the trend right now is around all investment moving towards what you call impact investing. And by impact investing really is that you can link most of the problems that we're having generally in this world, which is encapsulated in the United States Sustainable Development Goals. You've got 17 goals. There is hunger so much in Africa. Most people right now, they're on daily income. They can't even go out there. They don't even have money to eat. Then you can ask yourself, how can you solve hunger problem? Is it possible to actually look at the food security supply chain? Is it possible to see how to get technology into farming, to improve farming practices, to put money in the rural farmers' hand, and be the point that you can also move their farm products to the people in the urban area? Because essential service is considered as people delivering foods, people delivering farm produce. You can create wealth when you solve the problem of those rural farmers rather than their farm produce going to waste, but rather you figure out how to take those produce and get it into the people that will actually would need it in the cities. So there are a lot of ways to look at around creating wealth, financial principle, but it's still consistent to the point of the first speaker, in the sense that you can be a passive investor or you can be active. So much that else will manage whatever income you create from the whole using a business approach to solve the social and environmental problems that the world is facing right now. So let me stop right there. If you want to know more about social entrepreneurship, impact investing, that's what I do, that's what I teach. I also teach it for the upcoming generation, because making money is good, but it's sustainable if we make money to address social and environmental issues as well. Thank you very much. I'll stop here right there.
Wow, thank you so much, Brother Muyiwa Ogunfowora, joining us there from Manchester, United Kingdom, I believe. Thank you so much. That was very, very enlightening. All right, so we want to take questions. I believe our speakers are still online, and they would want to entertain the questions. Now, I know a lot of people will be itching to ask questions, and we're going to give you the opportunity to do so now. So if you have a question you would like to ask, I'm going to give you the opportunity to do so. You will just briefly introduce yourself, tell us where you are, and then you can throw in your question. I'm going to see who is going to be the first person that I'm going to take on now. You can raise your hand. I'm not sure if we all know how to raise our hand on the Zoom on the Zoom app. If you don't know how to raise your hand, perhaps you can raise your hand physically. I can see your video. And then I can probably, okay, I see Christopher has already raised his hands up. So I'm going to bring on Christopher. Christopher, you will just let us know where you are, and then you will, Christopher, you are on. Please ask your questions. The panelists are listening to you.
Yeah, I'm talking from Lagos, Nigeria. I kind of want to ask the first guest that spoke to us.
Pastor Israel, so that question is for you.
Yeah, Pastor Israel. Yeah. In a country like Nigeria, where our physical policies are unstable, they are always fluctuating, is a long-term investment a vital option or a wise option to go with?
Okay, let me quickly. Pastor Israel, did you trying to get Pastor Israel to respond?
Praise the Lord.
Hallelujah.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Brother Christopher, for that question. And I'd like to just quickly acknowledge Brother Shegun. That was a very, very, very insightful presentation. Very, very insightful. I think it's a good takeaway for many of us. Is long-term investment very sustainable? The issue is, for you to talk about investment, you must ask yourself every time you want to invest, what is your strategy? And I think Brother Shegun mentioned that as well. The question is, what is your strategy? Where is your end goal? How long are you in this for? What is your plan? Like, for instance, I still do a lot of investments in Nigeria. However, like Brother Shegun said, it's short-term based. I bought some shares in early March. I have not exited. I have my exit plan. I know what price tag I want to go out. But I said to myself, for instance, even if I stay there for say 1 year for purposes of conversation, and I'm getting a return on that investment of between 15 to 20% based on dividend, can I get that return anywhere else right now? Probably no. So I can then decide, instead of exiting now, I can now decide, okay, I'm going to leave it there for 1 year. However, the import for a good investment person who is an active investor is to know when you're entering, when you want to go out. And if the scenario still remains the same, and you scan through the environment at the time you want to exit, and you don't find alternative investment windows, you can decide to either stay or exit. So to answer the question precisely, there's no one straight jacket answer to that question. You could stay there for a long time, you can invest for a long time. If you're building a business, for instance, it's going to be there for a long time. But if you're just doing a plain, simple, vanilla kind of investment or buying or selling other shares or real estate, as the case may be, then once you achieve your goal, then I will be going out.
Okay, great. We have another question from one of our participants from China. That was Christopher. Okay. Can you hear me all now? Yes. Okay, my mic is back. Thank you so much for that answer, Pastor. Christopher, I hope that meets your immediate need. We have a participant from China who wants to ask a question. Let's have Puleng from China. Okay, can you Puleng, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, you're live now. Please introduce yourself and then you can ask your question.
Okay, my name is Puleng Tsatsi. My question is, I think for the second speaker, on the issue of Forex trading, is it actually a good medium, or rather, is it a godly platform to invest on for Christians? I don't
Okay.
know if I'm making sense.
Whether it's godly for Christians to go into forex trading.
Forex trading is.
Okay, Brother Shaglo, that question is for you.
Okay, so thank you very much. I mean, there's nothing ungodly about forex trading. It is simple. It is buying and selling. You buy forex, you buy it low, and then you sell it high. That is what it is. You can study about it. There are books where you read about it, where you study about it. There are principles. When information is released in the United States release information on labor, on employment, on this and that from time to time. When the president of the Federal Reserve Bank will speak and things like that, I mean, markets will react to those information. So it is not ungodly, but I can feel what you are trying to say, because if care is not taken, I lost $10,000 in a space of 10 to 20 minutes. Sometimes some people will look at it like gambling. It is not gambling. I have books on forex trading that I read, that I studied, but the thing is that you can quickly be greedy trading forex, and that is where it will appear it is ungodly. But it is not ungodly, but it's just that we have to be cautious. Thank you.
Can I jump in a bit there, sir?
Yes, please.
Okay, sir.
Thank you, Brother Shegu. I think Brother Shegu actually summarized it very well. Now, the reason why many people probably think that forex trading is not for Christians is because there's an element of gambling there for people who don't have knowledge. The truth, friends, is that the major banks of the world, that is how they leverage and make money, by buying and selling currencies. So you buy currencies of one nation with the hope or understanding that there will be depreciation of the other, or the appreciation of the other, as the case may be. Let me use Nigeria for instance. At some point, Nigerian naira to the dollar was 150. So if, for instance, you try to convert your naira into dollars, and then now I hear it's somewhere around 400 and something, even though officially it's somewhere around 360 or thereabout. So if you have converted your naira into dollars and held it, what you're doing is you're doing currency trading. However, many people do it on an exchange. So when you go into currency trading on an exchange, that is very risky if you don't have knowledge. Like Brother Shegu said, he lost money. In 2003, in 1 week, I lost $30,000, and I was like a madman. Well, because I was trading currency. So your risk appetite is very crucial. And guess what? The $30,000, I borrowed it from a friend of mine who happened at that time to be an executive director in WAPIC. And I said to him, hey, over 3 months, I was trading currency with just $1,000, and I was making $10 a day, and I was cool. But suddenly I said, hey, if you are good in making $10 a day, why not go for the kill? And that was why I said earlier on, you can't make money overnight. That is the greed element. And God help me, I lost all the money, but thank God I recovered back from other means. After that experience, I have never traded currency any longer. I still know how to trade it, but you see, the problem with currency is that there is this greed element that makes you feel you can make more, you can make more, you can make more.
Yeah, true that.
So because of that, if I don't have the temperamental disposition to be able to control that greed element, I rather stay away and trade it. But like Brother Shegu said, it is not ungodly.
That's a very interesting answer there. And I think the temptation, money is very tempting, especially when a person doesn't have self-control to be able to know when to stop. And I think with forex, there's always that feeling of, oh wow, I think if I can make $10, if I had gone in with like $5,000 or $10,000. This $10 I made now would have been $1,000, and then you decide to sink in all your all your savings, and then you lose everything you have. I think forex trading falls into the category of volatile forms of investment, and I think the key factor to consider is the fact that anything you are going to invest, it must be something you're willing to lose. Especially in forex trading. If you know you are not in a position where you can lose it, then you could actually be risking a lot in terms of your life. All right, let me see if there's somebody else here whose hands are raised, who would want to ask a question.
Samuel.
There's a Samuel I see here, whose hands are raised. We also have Rotimi. Let me take, I can't see Samuel anymore. Let me take Rotimi.
Yes, Samuel.
Rotimi, can you hear me, brother Rotimi?
I can hear you very well.
Okay, please tell us where you are, what were your names and where you are connecting from.
Okay, my name is Rotimi. I'm calling from Lagos, Nigeria.
Okay.
So, my question, I think goes to both speakers. Number one, the first topic about training career, training to transfer your career. And one, the second job mentioned various investments that can be done, so on and so forth. So, if the topic is actually not much, let's say you are collecting the amount of money in your career, now you want to build your career, probably so now to build your career in the future, and also at the same time, when you build savings, you want to invest in land and so on. Actually, that your little resources so that to achieve great objectives within the short time. So we actually appreciate
I don't know if Segun and Pastor Israel really gets a bearing of the question there. The sound was quite poor where I am, so I couldn't really hear properly. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, the little I heard is that Rotimi is asking, how can we make money with little resources, make big money in a short period of time? Something like that. If I have little, how can I maximize and ramp up quickly? I think that Pastor Israel in his presentation has made it clear. Rome was not built in a day. I remember very well when my net worth was like 1 million naira. I remember it moved to 3 million naira. It was incremental, right? I remember that if you want to be rich in this world, right, you have to save more than 50% of your income, right? So that's how it begins. That's why financial planning is key. So you save more than you spend. Now, some of us have reached a level today where there's nothing I'm doing with my salary. My salary means nothing because, I have incremental income, passive income, interest income, etc. So, to answer Rotimi's question clearly, you cannot make money overnight, like the first speaker said, but if you believe in God and you continue to leverage these principles of savings, of intentional investing, guided with knowledge or by knowledge, you will be there, but it has to be incremental. This is not physics of money, is not about money ritual. It is about growing your net worth little by little until it becomes very big. Pastor Israel.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Segun. I think the point is well made. The only addition that I'd like to add to this, brother, to the Rotimi that asked the question, the truth really is, you don't need money So you don't need to have money to make money. What you need to have is ideas. Not only ideas, relationship. When I was working back in, sometimes in the late 90s, the job I was doing as an accountant at the time was barely just meeting up my expense at home. But I was seeking for opportunities. I recall one of the opportunities that myself and one of my brothers, I think my brother should be on the line, I guess. I was seeking for opportunities, and then suddenly I realized that I had friends who were in positions in organizations where I could supply chemicals. Now, I had no money to buy the chemical because my resource, my income was not up to buying those chemicals. But I had friends whose uncle had money. So I went up to my friend's uncle and said, hey, I have this LPO to supply so and so chemical. Now that brings me to the transaction model that we talked about earlier on, buying and selling. So I told my friend, please, sir, can you borrow me money? I want to buy this chemical. This is where I'm supplying the goods to. So I bought the chemical, he gave me the money. This is your own interest. This is going to be the portion you're going to get from this business. Bought the chemical, supplied it to Eleganza at that point in time, and then I was supposed to be paid in 30 days. Of course, in between, there were so many other things that happened. But the point I'm trying to make is that ideas and relationship is what we need to be able to make money. So don't box yourself into thinking, oh, I'm earning a little income. My income cannot go anywhere. The question is, ask God for ideas. He says, ask of me and I'll give to you. So once you have ideas, there are so many things you can do in Nigeria that can help you translate into moving from where you are into opportunities that are available in the marketplace. But like Brother Shegun again said, even those ideas, sometimes you need to be very careful in how you implement it.
Thank you so much, Pastor Israel and Brother Shegun. Thank you so much. Well, somebody just sent a question on the WhatsApp group right now. The person is asking, still talking about the forex trading and the stock exchange, which is the best option in terms of startups for somebody who's trying to start, and how do they actually start this process of investing? You know, is there any trustworthy sites that, you know, we can recommend for them to go to, you know, to where they can actually start from? So that's a question from Sister Maggie from Cape Town, South Africa. So can we bring in Pastor Shegun or Brother Shegun or Pastor Israel?
Yeah, Brother Shegun can go, please.
Okay, sorry, his mic was muted.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you for that question. Honestly, to start answering that question, let me make a note also from what Pastor Israel said. The day I lost $10,000 in FX, I stopped it for life. I will never trade FX because I cannot be working so hard to be throwing it away. So FX is out of my vocab. So I just have to talk about it in case some people want to make $10. I will not again. So to answer the question, the best way to start is savings. So I assume you have saved. So the stock market is the way. And how do you start the process? You have to look for a stockbroker. If it was in Nigeria, we have stockbrokers. People can also trade online. We can also trade online now in Nigeria, but I use a stockbroker. They're going to charge a small commission at 1.35%. So look for a stockbroker. I'm sure you have stockbrokers in South Africa. You will register with a person. And there are two ways, broad categories of buying stocks. It's either you are advised, your stockbroker can advise you, buy this, buy that, and co. So just starting, that's a good way. Let someone advise you and co, but set your risk appetite and co yourself. That's a way. But for me, at this level, I do not take any advice. I know how to study the market. I know that the year end of Nigerian banks are in December. I know that the first three banks that will declare their audited financials, I know them, Zenith First Bank, Zenith, GT Bank, Access and Co. Those are the banks. So I know when to enter them. You know, so you are going to gain experience as you move on and as you move on. So I advise you start with the stock market. I advise you forget the FX market, go for a broker, and then start little by little. I mean, I have a policy today. I only put maximum of 10 million in the stock market. If you like, tell me that something will triple by tomorrow. I will still not put more than 10 million. That's my risk appetite. I will not do more than that. So please start with the stock market and look for a stockbroker. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Pastor, would you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think Pastor Shego has actually said it all. The good thing with the stock market is that it gives you what they call low entry. You can use 100 naira, you can use 100 rands, you can use $100. You can use any amount you have to enter. You can buy shares that are $1. You can buy shares that are 10 naira, as the case may be, based on what you have. But the perspective there is that for those who are in Nigeria, your best bet is to look for stockbrokers. Stockbrokers are the best window that you can use, especially if you're just starting. There are people who trade online. That is because they've already gotten the requisite knowledge. If you don't have the requisite knowledge, it is difficult to trade online. So the best is to start with the stock market, and then you can from there graduate into other areas that you wish to. But please don't go into too risky, aggressive investments. They are not good. Because sometimes I hear people in Nigeria say, I recall back in the days, there are many schemes, Ponzi schemes, that have gone through the Nigerian environment, from the days of Mana to Forum to Plan Well to various kinds of Ponzi schemes. Even here in North America, we have a lot of Ponzi schemes. So anything that tells you invest now, you're going to make thousands of percentage of return overnight is not a place to go near. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, a lot of people's fingers have been burnt because of greed. I think the key thing about financial intelligence is that money moves, based on laws. Money obeys Isaac Newton's law of motion. And then money obeys Ohm's law of motion. There needs to be potential for there to be currency, and where resistance is constant. And if you are promised a return that is going to be so sudden without any valuable exchange of potential or any potential on display, so to speak, the risk it's like it could wipe you off. It could wipe you out. So you need to be very careful not to invest into something just because everybody's into it or because there's such a promise of return. You want to ask yourself, what exactly is the work that is going to be done that is going to lead to this money that I'm being promised to get? So if there's no value being exchanged, you are actually going to be wasting your money if you're putting your money into it. All right, I'm going to bring in Samuel. There's somebody called Samuel who is online and has been raising his hands. Samuel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
Please tell us where you are and talk to us.
Hello, everyone. I'm Samuel Kenneth from Sierra Leone, Freetown.
Oh, you're from Sierra Leone, Freetown. Beautiful.
Freetown, yeah. I'm really blessed throughout these teachings that I've been listening to, and to the presenters also. And my question here is going to Pastor Israel. And through this teaching, they talked about savings model and transactions model. I just want to connect those tools based to my experience and what I've been going through. I'm presently working at the Sierra Chamber of Commerce since I graduated from a university. And being there, the office is dealing with private sectors, people that are in business, or purely the private sector. So I've been moved to engage into business. My presence at the office there has been motivated me to go into business. So since 2018, I decided to start saving. Based on my salary, I've been able to save something like $400. In our own currency is 4 million euros. But yeah, in our currency is 4 million euros. But I thought that money is very small for me to start a business. It's very much small to start a business here in Sierra Leone. And of late, I decided to want to continue my education by applying for ACCA. And ACCA also is a very expensive course. But the advantage there is that you are allowed to take the exams as you wish. Maybe after every 3 months, you will take one paper. When you pay for that paper, then you sit the paper. So you will be taking it one paper you decided due to the finance. So I've decided to do my ACCA and to further my education by doing my ACCA, because the money I've been saving to start a business will not be sufficient for me. And to the second model that Pastor Israel told us about, that's transaction model, it mentioned something there that someone can also sell his or her skills. And I've decided to build up my career and do my ACCA. And with that, I hope I will have a good job that I will pay very high. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay, so sorry, let me cut you, Samuel. What's your question? Because of time, we need to kind of...
Yes, sir. My question now is, due to those illustrations that I've made, is it the right track I'm moving towards, meaning that Pastor Israel and the other speaker have wealthy experience in terms of taking decision? Is it the right track that I'm moving towards? That's my question.
Okay, Pastor Israel, did you get his question?
Yeah, I got his question. But I think what he's asking is that spending the money that he has into developing himself, whether that is the best option for him. I think that's what I get from the question. The truth is, the best form of investment is investing in your personal development. That's the best form of education. That's the best form of investment. It is what you know that produces the value you sell. Let me rephrase that. It is what you have invested in yourself that produces the value you can sell. So the more you know, the more you can produce value that people will buy into. For instance, when I was in Nigeria, apart from the fact that I was an accountant and then I appeared into stock market, when I came over to North America, I didn't say, oh, I've been doing stock trading, I've been doing finance-related stuff. I went back to school here and invested some thousands of dollars to acquire the requisite knowledge to excel in this environment. So going back to do your ACCA, what that does for you is that increases your value, increases your earning power, increases your knowledge, and you can best use those values you've invested in yourself in doing whatever business you may want to go into, or even doing transactions as they go. So that to me is investing in your education to me is the greatest value you can give yourself right now.
Yeah, I think that is very true, because when you invest into your education, you're building your capacity, you're actually increasing your potential difference. And potential is a very key factor in terms of you being able to attract money. you know, and you expose your mind and you actually gain more knowledge. So it's important, it is better that you invest into developing yourself, like Pastor Israel has said, you know, and then later on you can now begin to diversify into other areas. Pastor Israel, this other question is for you. Somebody sent this question privately. The person is asking, which stockbroker would you recommend if they want to take advantage of the COVID-19 situation now, like tomorrow, if they want to invest as little as $2,000 to $5,000 that will not charge much? So there's the question from somebody in Canada who would rather remain anonymous.
Oh, the person is in Canada?
Yes, the person is based in Canada.
Now, the way the Canadian system of investing is structured is such that we don't really deal with brokers as in stockbrokers. Every Canadian has access, or residents have access to what they call an investment platform through their banks. However, there are financial advisors. So what I would advise that person to do is to engage his or her bank, talk with the financial advisors if the person does not have financial knowledge, and then they would advise them as to what and what they could buy. They could either go into what they call mutual funds, or they could go into what they call exchange traded funds, or the like. Or better still, the person could maybe contact me offline, and then I could probably point them into what is investing to.
Okay. All right. I hope the person got that. Okay. There's a question here. Somebody is asking. Okay, Ambassador K, seems like you put your hands down. All right. There's somebody who's asking. So, given that there is no shortage of investment opportunities being offered left, right, and center, what are the key criteria to apply in deciding if something is worth investing into or not? Can I bring in Brother Muyiwa Gunfora, please? Can you respond to that, please?
Yeah, sorry, can you come back with the question?
So
I think I was a bit distracted.
Okay, the question is, given that there is no shortage of investment opportunities being offered left, right, and center, what are some of the key criteria to apply in deciding if something is worth investing into?
Wow, that's quite interesting, really. I think building up upon what the Pastor Israel and Brother Shegun has mentioned, really, in terms of investment, I think for individuals, really, you have to set your criteria, you know, in terms of what are your risk appetite and what exactly in terms of your passion, really. Of course, really, for me, because I'm coming from the entrepreneurship end, so I always also link that to investment, really. Aliko said something when he was asked in terms of what sectors will he invest or will he be interested in terms of business opportunities. He said he wouldn't invest or put his money where he will only invest or put his money in a sector that he understands. So there are diverse sectors, but you have to also figure out which of these sectors that you are fully aware of, you are fully knowledgeable of. Let me break it down in terms of my personal experience and what the business I'm in really we are focused on. Traditionally, there are three key sectors that have been seen as social sector, which is what is expected of government institutions or charity and all of those things. And if you actually look at it, this is actually as a result of government and market failure to see the opportunities in these sectors, and I'm talking about health, education, and agri sector. Because at the end of the day, right, I quite admire people that invest in capital markets. There is no doubt about it. However, from my own experience and also an opportunity to work with someone that will understand the capital market, you know, you observe that if you don't have the large capital to be an institutional investor, having a stake in the business, as a shareholder, that you understand how the company is being managed, what the corporate governance is, right? So in essence, really, investment in capital market is good, but it's better if you can pull together your resources as a mutual fund so that you do your research in terms of you understand the fundamentals behind the company you're investing in, then I'll recommend that. However, if you have the entrepreneurial interest, then you need to identify sectors that you are passionate about, that ordinarily you will do what you will do in this sector, but then it's not an advantage people paying you for what you don't doing. Let me also look at practical experience in the Nigeria entertainment sector, really. Prior to now, a lot of people think, oh, Nollywood, is not so profitable, right? But if you actually look at what is going right now in the entertainment sector, really, you've got a lot of opportunities in the sector. Somebody just sent me on one of the WhatsApp group, Netflix. The value of Netflix right now is higher than ExxonMobil. Why is the value of Netflix higher right now? Because if you look at the share price of Netflix, everybody's at home. So at the end of the day, what you find out really is that a lot of people are watching movie online to keep themselves busy and all of those things. So you find a way that you lift people's mood. Another area of healthcare right now that a lot of doctors are beginning to move into this space is mental wellness. For those of us who are Christians, will of course will pray and will believe that there is hope, there is faith in all of these crises. But in the developed world, a lot of people are depressed because they are under lockdown, even though they have all the amenities right there. So an opportunity, even though it's a social service, you now have various platforms calling in to check on people. And people are downloading the apps, really, on some of these innovations to check on people to make sure that you talk to them, they're okay. So you look at innovations happening within the social media space. You don't necessarily put your money in the stock market, but you're actually creating solutions, technology-based. I'm also speaking from my area of interest and expertise anyway, because investment sometimes really, and also I think is Pastor Isra that mentioned this, God needs to give you that unique idea to create wealth. And there are a lot of ways in which wealth can be created. It's even biblical, in the sense that the knowledge that will derive, right? And for some, in fact, let me even give you this example because it's just jumping into my mind. Something as basic as water is what a lot of people are using to create wealth in Nigeria. Because at the end of the day, a lot of considerations around social distancing, wash your hands, use soap. How many households around African continent do you even have water? Some people don't have access to water. So what you now find out is that a lot of people are even just selling pure water. So even if you have a lot of capacity to invest in water purification or bottling processing, that means there's a market, there's a demand for it. So I think in summary, really, follow your passion to decide in which sector you want to invest in and make sure you're knowledgeable about that sector. And I think number two is that try not to be a jack of all trades. Because even if you want to do a portfolio investment, really in the sense that sometimes you want to balance your portfolio to ensure that, looking at the trends or events, which sectors are actually that no matter what, people will always eat. No matter what, people will always require shelter. No matter what, people will always seek for knowledge. no matter what, healthcare will always be very important. And also in all of this, really, connecting the dots, you need to move products, you need to move goods from one place to the other. So you're looking at logistics. So that in a way will help you in understanding where to move your money to, even if you are playing the capital market, or you want to invest directly in entrepreneurs, or you want to actually take the entrepreneurial approach yourself, that look, rather than investing in someone else's business, you want to invest in the God-given idea that God has deposited in you, make it a business, and get other people to come and invest in your own business.
True.
So I think for me, really, let me just stop here for now. So, but I think I've been able to take your mind or approach around investment. It could be from a financial point of view. It could also be that you go on your knees for God to give you that one idea that you yourself can translate into business, that investors can begin to invest in you.
Wow, thank you so much, Brother Muyiwa. Thank you so much. That's so broad. I think one of the key things that he spoke about there is that two things I would say. Number one, knowledge. If you don't have knowledge in any area you want to invest into, you would forever be dependent on third-party factors to help you even make the simplest of calls, and those sometimes come at a cost. So in choosing where you want to invest, you need to first of all invest time in trying to gain the prerequisite knowledge, in that area. The second thing that he spoke about is also passion. You need to have a bit of passion and interest in any area you want to invest in. So that is very, very important. I want to just quickly bring in. We're going to be rounding up very shortly, but I want to quickly bring in back Brother Segun. The question here, somebody is asking if you can throw more light into unit trust and Bitcoin. Unit trust and Bitcoin. First of all, Bitcoin, is it really considered, is this an investment one should consider that, a lot of banks are against it and there's a lot of money lost through fraud and things like that, and banks are building resistance against Bitcoin? I'm sure maybe Pastor Israel will also probably have to also say something about that. And then on the unit trust, there's somebody here who wants to invest in unit trust and wants to know what are her options. Brother Segun. Hello?
He's muted.
Can you hear me, Brother Segun?
Are you trying to unmute him?
Okay, I have. Okay, yeah.
Okay, fine. I'm fine now. So the question, thank you very much, sir, is on unit trust and Bitcoin.
Yes.
So let me start with Bitcoin, right? And please, whatever I say here is my personal advice, is my opinion, right? I treat Bitcoin. I treat it much like I treat Forex. My friend is an expert in Bitcoin in Atlanta, in US. He's invited me severally, but I treat Bitcoin like I treat Forex. Now, the little thing I have seen people do with Bitcoin in Nigeria is to steal a customer's money, about $1 million, and convert it to Bitcoin. You understand? So the Nigerian Central Bank is currently against all this Bitcoin trading and co. So I don't bother myself about it. I'm sure Pastor Israel may be able to say a bit more about it. And I think the question on unit trust will be better for Dr. Ogofowola.
Okay. All right, Pastor Israel.
Okay.
Yes, Pastor Israel. Yes, please.
Now, you see, there are a lot of investments that are straightforward and easy to learn and to follow. The challenge with we humans sometimes is that we like to follow complicated things. I, for one, don't like to follow follow complicated things. I like to follow what I can understand, what I have knowledge of. And then, of course, we know that focus is key to success in anything. If you want, like somebody said, in the US, let's say New York Stock Exchange, there are over 6,000 stocks to invest in for purpose of discussion. Now, if you don't focus in one area, you become a jack of all trades and a master of none. Every person that has made a mark focuses on something. So if you jump from Bitcoin, you go to Forex, you jump to the stock exchange, you jump into real estate. At the end of the day, focus is what gives you both passion, is what gives you mileage, and what gives you a headroom. My people there's a local dialect, the local proverb which I will translate. If you pee in a spot, you make foam. But when you scatter your pee, it does not amount to much.
My question to you.
Bitcoin, like what they call it, like currency trading, they have exchanges that trade it. I have looked at it and studied it, but I said this does not belong to me, and I put it to the side. The ones that I'm doing, let me be a master of it and excel in it. That's what I would suggest. So I'm not going to talk much about Bitcoin here because it's a whole lot of technicalities that I don't know much about. And
okay. Thank you so much. Brother Muyiwa, do you want to say something about the unit trust? Professor Shegun said you should respond to that.
Okay, I know why he said so, because we had a chat earlier, and I'm looking at the number of participants on this platform right now. I think about 70 people having this conversation. And from what
we have a lot of people on Facebook and YouTube as well, different from those on
Zoom. Okay.
Yes.
So from a unit trust perspective, we realize that from an income point of view, you might not earn that much. Maybe your disposable income for investment is, let's say, 10,000 in any currency. But if you're able to pull like-minded people in which there is a trust, there is a mutual interest to actually move the needle. So, and it's also based on mathematical principle. So if you gather 1,000 people, drop 10,000 naira each, so that gives you 10 million. With 10 million, you can invest in the bigger way to give you a better return, and you can now share whatever returns that is across. And that's the principle of mutual fund trust, really. So if your risk appetite is less, and you think you don't have that big amount of money to be able to have a large stake in a portfolio, then mutual fund or unit trust is the appropriate way. And just one more point to add to what Pastor Israel said in terms of you have to have a focus also based on biblical principle, really in terms of spiritual gifts, right? God has given everybody different kind of gifts. Some are apostles, some are teachers, and if you actually also look at it, really. So from that perspective, I still strongly believe that the first thing really is to figure out what that gift or area of interest that God is asking you in terms of, because the reality is that I don't know how many people have read this book in terms of the Jewish principle to creating wealth, and that aligned with also the issues around unit trust, because if you look at most Jewish community, even globally, they hold the largest amount of wealth globally, and is as a result of this communal approach to wealth creation. In fact, there's also a case study of the ABBA model, the apprenticeship model, in which people come together to invest in an area in which they know, okay, they can thrive. And having been able to thrive, They also now figure out that in order to manage not competing unnecessarily with one another, you have what you call identifying areas in which maybe I want to explain this from an industrial park point of view. If you find out that one of the things that we've not been able to do successfully in Nigeria really is that we've not been able to adopt the concept of communal approach to building wealth and towards industrialization. Let's say, for instance, now you look at the garment industry. There are different aspects of this value chain. Or if you want to look at even the food industry, you know, you start from the production end, you have the farmers, right? You have where you actually do the harvest, you process the food, you look at the logistics and the distribution end before it actually now gets into the retail to the end users. So if you look at a business from our value chain point of view, and people want to come together to invest, you can decide which part of the value chain of this industry you want to invest or you want to be known for. So it's a question of even linking it to your parts of the body. You know, the hands have a different function, your eyes a different function, but all working together for the benefit of the body. So that, in a way, adopting that mindset to mutual trust, to unit trust, really, you can bring together like-minded and be able to invest and create a bigger wealth for everybody to share at the end of the day. So,
amazing.
That's on my part.
Wow, thank you so much. You know, we can never exhaust all the questions and comments and, you know, opportunity that this kind of platform provides for us. I'm going to take, I think it will be the last question, and then after that, I'm just going to ask our speakers to just give us a few final words before we round up. But before I do that, for those of you who have not read my book, two very key books. The first one, Physics of Money. Physics of Money, is it upside down? Not sure how it's showing right there. Okay, it's nice. If you've not read my book on the Physics of Money, revised edition, it would really, really help you a lot. It will start you out, you know, and help you to know where to start from. Part of the critical chapters in the book that really intrigues me is the theory of mind direction. Then there's a chapter on the theory of mind power, financial adaptation thinking, financial freedom, and the core theories of physics of money itself. So if you've not read the book yet, I think it's something you need to plan to get. And then there's another interesting book on dealing with economic hardship, you know, a spiritual response. I think these books will help you a lot, you know, to be able to get yourself started. And we're looking at you know, sometime later, having a workshop. Now, the way the physics of money ecosystem is that our summits are usually open and they're free. But the workshops, which are specialized workshops, are usually paid events. So you look out for it. I'm really looking at we being able to have a specialized session on investing where we can actually take all the different nitty-gritty details of the areas of investing, you know, and be able to give you a very robust workshop that will help you to know where to start from. And then the master class then literally takes a particular line, and then we just, you know, take it to the next level. So you can look out for that, and hopefully we'll be able to get that on, you know, very soon. There was a question here, but I think I just lost that question. The person was asking about the pyramid scheme. The pyramid scheme. Let me just see if I can quickly retrieve the question. So the last question I wanted to take is, he says, I would like to ask about network marketing. He says, when Bill Gates was asked if he had a second opportunity to create wealth, he said he would invest in a good network marketing company. I'm not sure where that person got that information from, but that's what the person said. He said, I want to know if that is deemed as a pyramid scheme, because though there are products to be sold, so there is buying and selling, which doesn't require knowledge, but there is recruitment involved. You need to bring people, and they bring people that looks, you know, which looks like a biblical model because it is more selling and helping other people. Is this a good model, a good investing strategy? Pastor Israel, I don't know if you can respond to that. Person is asking about network marketing. I personally, well, Pastor Israel, go ahead.
Pyramid scheme is not the same with network marketing.
Oh, okay.
I like to make that clarification.
Okay.
Pyramid scheme is a scheme where you, for instance, let me give an example. With those people who, for instance, who are in Nigeria, even those people who have been here in North America, what people do on the pyramid scheme is that some institutions or organizations tell you, give us $100 or 100 naira, and then in 2 weeks or 1 month's time, you're going to reap 100%. So you get back $200 or naira. But what they are doing is that they are leveraging on you, marketing and telling other people that, look, hey, this return is going to be 100%. So the pool, as long as the supply, the inflow of the funds is more than what is going out, that scheme will keep growing. But there comes a time where there's a bubble, where what is being paid out is not enough to meet with what is coming in, and then the funds, the scheme collapses, or there's an intervention of government or regulatory body because it's not sustainable. Anything that is not sustainable by common sense is not a good thing to think about in terms of investment. I recall so many years ago when I was in Nigeria, that some friends came and said to me that, hey, there are some organizations that if you give them money, you invest money there by way of fixed deposit, that in 3 weeks, you are getting close to 80%. And so my first question is, what kind of productive venture are these guys going to put this money into that will generate 80% return in 3 weeks? And it did not make any sense to me. So that in itself was a pyramid scheme. Network marketing is a little bit different in the sense that you're marketing the products for one end to the other, and then it's a function of how many people you layer up within your team and all of those stuff, and on and on. Well, I don't know how many people really have made a lot of money from network marketing. I don't really know, but candidly, those are not two areas that I'll go into.
I think the headache that goes with network marketing is very you have to continuously be hunting for new people to come up on your ladder, and then it turns out everybody in town is network marketing the same thing that you're trying to network market. To a large extent, there's no intelligence for me. There's no intelligence there. And what creates value is potential difference. When there's no potential difference, it becomes difficult for money to move. Well, I don't know if Brother Shegun would like to say something about that before I ask them to round up today.
Nothing about Ponzi scheme or network marketing. I don't know about them. It's not what I focus on, sir.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. So let me just have last words. We're rounding up now. So, Brother Shegun, please, can you just give us your last words? Give us your last words before we pray and round up the session today.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks to everyone who has attended this. My last words, 3 sentences. Put God in consideration of everything you are doing. Be a knowledge-based person and be intentional about your financial planning, savings, and management. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you so much. Pastor Israel, please, can we have your last words?
I'd like to thank and appreciate you, Pastor Emmanuel, for this opportunity and forum. I also like to thank and appreciate Brother Shegun, as well as Brother Muiwa. Thank you very much for the insightful contributions and comments on the platform as well. The last thing I'd like to say is, Please, we must never forget that wealth creation is first spiritual before it is physical. No matter how much you strive to make money, if God is not backing you, it will be a struggle in futility. And I think that is very, very important, because if the heavens over you are not open, you're going to try stock investment, you're going to try real estate, you're going to try every other thing, and the more you try them, you realize that you're wasting money or the heavens are closed. So you must ensure that your relationship with God is strong, because everyone that makes money here on earth is either empowered by heaven or is empowered by the forces of darkness. So whatever you choose depends on you. But my challenge, my admonition to you is that choose God and let God empower you. Thank you very much.
Amen. Thank you so much. Let's also hear from Brother Muyiwa, please. Brother Muyiwa, please, your last words.
First of all, thank you, Pastor Emmanuel, for putting this together. It's really a good opportunity to connect. Thanks to the other two speakers, Pastor Israel and Brother Shegun, for the insightful knowledge that you've shared with everyone on this platform. I've actually also learned a lot. At least a new word for me is a takeaway of entrepreneur. Really. So my final comment really is I want to leave you with these three words: prayer, faith, and action. Prayer, to pray that to discover God's purpose for your life, in the sense that once you can connect in terms of why you are created, identifying that the fact that you are unique, right? What works for you might not work for somebody else. Somebody might become a billionaire by selling water, and basically is keying into maybe that is what God wants the person to do. And do not, because this person is selling water, that I also need to go and sell water because this guy selling water is making money. Ask God in terms of what exactly should you be doing at this point in time, and get that purpose for yourself to be able to go into the business world. Faith is in the sense that it's not going to be easy, it's not going to be a smooth journey, really. Either as an investor, and as Brother Shegun mentioned, he lost money, but you have to be focused, you have to keep going. So faith is that element that will keep you going in terms of difficulty, believing that, look, if God has ordained this, there will be trouble along the way. I mean, if you look at the lifestyle of Job, really, he lost all, but then he endured and he recovered all again in the end. The third one is action. And I think for us, really, as Christians, really, sometimes really we don't really focus on this action part of it. You know, I was reading a book really in the sense that it's good to pay your tithe, it's good to sow seed, but at the same time, really, most of the time, really, when you go to church and you sow a seed, you know, you have to go out there and also put in the hard work. God is not a magician. Because sometimes really we get carried away that, oh, it's only once we go to church, we pray, and the pastor asks me to sow a seed, and automatically that seed will translate into 1,000. You sow a seed of 1,000 naira today, and tomorrow you come and give a testimony that God just asked somebody to come and give you 10,000 naira, 100,000 naira. Sometimes really, God understands our weakness. We can have those kind of testimony, but there is a need for action. In fact, during our school days, really, I used to be a teacher in the what's called academic secretary. Really, students will pray that you want to pass exam, but you don't read for that exam. Fine, sometimes miracle can do occur, but you have to do your own part.
True.
So that action part, which is now taking it a step further. I mean, I think Pastor Manuel said something earlier on, really, that hope we're all taking notes in terms of, so what's going to be my action plan going forward. Enduring wealth is a process, is a continuous process. It takes time. So your action plan can be that in the next 5 years, in the next 10 years, if God tarries, if Jesus tarries, right, this is going to be my goal. You prayed, God has put into your mind in terms of where it's taking you to. As you are going along that journey, there are challenges, but because you have faith, because you are taking on a journey, and you are acting according to God's plan. So that action plan, I believe that at the end of the day, by God's grace and God willing, we will all get to the destination where God is taking us to. God bless everyone.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I would really want to thank all our speakers today. I really want to say I'm grateful, and especially for those of us who had jumped on last minute. Thank you so much, Brother Muyiwa, for agreeing to be a part of the event today. Thank you, Pastor Israel. I know that some of the participants would like to just say one or two words. I think I can just let like 2 or 3 people to just give a feedback of how they've been impacted. If you would like to say something, please just raise your hand on the app on Zoom, and I will just let you give 1 or 2 words of feedback. So while I wait for that, I want to thank also Brother Shegun. Thank you so much for making our time to be a part of this event, and it's really amazing to be able to have this kind of ecosystem where we can motivate each other and encourage one another and realize that, look, you can't just sit down there sleeping. The Bible tells us in the book of Genesis 26 verse 12 that in the midst of famine, Isaac sowed in the land. And if you actually look at it from several other translations, it actually means that he invested at a time when everybody was scared to do so. He invested at a time when economically it was harsh. He invested at a time when, like the current time we are in now. So let's all be proactive. Think of what you can do. I'm sure you've taken away something from the conversation today. And, make a decision that you're going to take a step. Fear looks, but faith jumps. And I really believe that if we can apply ourselves to changing the situation we are in, we can definitely move forward. Effort is the first step to result. If you don't make an effort, you have no chance to succeed. Yes, it is possible that if you make an effort, you might fail, but it is better to try than to just sit down because you are afraid of failing. And also, we would definitely give us more information once we are able to put together a perfect workshop. We'll get information across to you and let you know more about it. There's somebody called Christopher who wants to make a comment. Christopher, please, you're live.
Pastor Manuel, thank you.
Mic has frozen. Is it my network? I think Christopher, can you hear Christopher? I cannot hear Christopher. I don't know if anybody else can hear him. His microphone is on lock, but he seems to have. Brother Shegun, can you hear him?
I heard him, but he ceased.
He froze. Yes, he froze. Yes. He froze. Okay, let's also have Brother Akinwande. He wants to say something. Please, Brother Akinwande, you can speak to us. Okay, I can also see Brother, there's somebody whose hand is raised here. His name is Galaxy J7 Neo. Can you hear me, Galaxy J7 Neo?
Yes, I can hear you, Pastor.
Please, can you introduce yourself briefly and tell us where you are and give us your comment?
Can you see me, Pastor? Brother Jonathan in Johannesburg.
Oh, okay, Jonathan from Johannesburg, South Africa. Okay.
Yes, Pastor, it has been so good to get this type of information, and I like the fact that the men of God are true to say what they not acknowledged about in terms of Forex and Bitcoin. I'm very happy about that they give us what they've tasted and what they know has worked for them, as they are already in a place of where they are incurring better success.
Yes.
Only thing that I would just like to say is two things. First of all, thank you for this, and I hope when you advertise your seminar or either your next meeting, I'll be available to come and get to whatever you're teaching. The second thing is, I believe right now in South Africa, it is a critical time for everyone who wants to go into business, to go into business. Why? Because most of businesses now are struggling in terms of being unable to either pay employees or sustain the businesses because there's no money coming in because of the lockdown. Why am I saying so? The government has said they will give businesses that are registered with the UIF, it's an unemployment insurance fund, money to be able to pay employees on the lockdown. But there's businesses which are not registered with the UIF. So this is where a person who's not in business can be able to go into business either by investing into businesses that are in a stage where they've got clients, they've got money that is going to come in, but because they have not worked, there's no money that is coming in.
Yeah.
So it's easy for anyone who can come and say, okay, fine, your business now, you are in a stage of panic. I can come in and invest my 50,000 or my 100,000 for you to sustain your business for a certain percentage. Because I see the cash flow of your business for 2 years, it has been doing well, or for a year, you've got already clients, you've got money coming in. But because of this lapse of a month, there's a gap. And now I'm going to close this gap for you, but for an exchange of a percentage into your business. Because not everyone is going to qualify to get the help from the government. Yeah. There's SMEs where you can register as an SME, get funding, but there's also the qualifying criteria. The criteria where you need to be SARS registered, need to be this registered. What if you're not registered but you've got a business? The business which are running for less than 6 months, the person has not registered SARS, not registered UIF. In those businesses which have a potential of making money, people who are not in business, this is a critical time. If you are sitting on top of money, get into business. But first, it's very ideal to make research in what you're going.
Okay, thank you so much. We appreciate that feedback from you. And I think at this juncture, I would like to bring the event today to a close. And I want to thank every one of you who have participated again from wherever you have joined us from. We appreciate the fact that you're able to be a part of this conversation today. You can check out our website, physicsofmoney.com or physicsofmoney.co.za for more information about Physics of Money. You can also like our page on Facebook and on Instagram and on Twitter. Please remember to just search for Physics of Money on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and like our pages. And also, we'll be keeping you updated on future events. Once again, I want to thank all our panelists who have made time out of their busy schedules to be a part of the program today. I want to also ask anyone who may be online, right now, who's not yet born again. If you have not yet made Jesus Christ the Lord of your life, the whole essence of our living is giving our heart to the Lord Jesus Christ. So I'm going to just ask you to consider making that decision today. Receive Jesus. Jesus died for you so that you might have life and have life in abundance. The most important thing about our existence is not just only our well-being while on the earth, but also being sure that when we die, we will go to heaven. And that is the reason why Jesus died for us. He shed his blood so that we will not have to go to hell when we die. If you are online and you are not yet born again and you would like to give your heart to Jesus, I would like you to just say these words after me. Say, Lord Jesus, I receive you into my heart as my Lord and Savior. Thank you for saving my soul. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Now, if you've prayed that prayer, I want you to know that you're born again. Find a Bible-believing church and join that church, and begin to study the Bible and pray and know that now you are a child of God. Amen. All right, so we have a WhatsApp group which we have created for Physics of Money. If you have more questions and conversations, you can, join the group on WhatsApp, and the group will also be live very soon on Facebook. So, and we want to see you prosper. We want to help you, go from the level of which you are financially to the next level. Financial freedom is possible. Financial freedom is possible and attainable to those who make the effort to get to that level. And it starts from knowledge. What you don't know, you cannot take advantage of. You can be very knowledgeable in so many areas, but you need financial intelligence. I always like to say that a financially intelligent person can pay a scientist to work for him. So to a large extent, financial intelligence may be more important than even being scientifically intelligent. So thank you so much. This has been Physics of Money Education business seminar organized here today. Thank you all so much again. Pastor Emmanuel Ogbechi here asking you to have a great day and saying bye-bye from Johannesburg, South Africa.